All right, welcome back. Thank you for joining us on the RP Experience. I'm your host, Andrew Regenhard, and today we have Mark Riley, one of our top producing agents within Real Producers. Welcome to the podcast, Mark.
Yep, thank you, Andrew.
We're excited
to be here.
You. Yeah. So, give you guys context. Mark Riley received his Ohio broker license actually in 1979. Today, Mark is the CEO and broker of Lux International Properties. His focus is on luxury market here in Naples and Sarasota. Lux International Properties has a satellite office as well in Florence, Italy, and is in process of actually opening another office in Bonita Springs, which I think it just opened, correct?
Correct.
Awesome. Mark also runs Lux Home Design International, which is an interior design business that complements his real estate business. Although he's been in the industry for over 4 decades, Mark still remains to be one of the most humble individuals in the community. So we are very privileged to have you on the podcast today and look forward to gaining a little bit of knowledge.
Thank you.
So, Mark, if you don't mind, just let us know a little bit about how you got into real estate. I know we're going to touch on some businesses that you did as a young kid and whatnot. So you had that entrepreneur mindset. But how did you get? What was the journey to your first broker license in Ohio?
So my mother was a real estate icon in Ohio. She's since 1962. I was born in 1960. So as a toddler, I would ride with her, and it would kind of became a game. I would look at see a for sale sign and tell her there's something there. And then as I got older, 5, 6, I would say to her, why isn't your name on that sign? So then she started taking me with her on listing appointments, which was interesting, and I was chatty. So sometimes she would say you can talk or not talk, but sometimes it would help. So we kind of started this team playback as a child and her business, and then that's how I learned it. So I then followed her everywhere, and then I decided to really pursue that. Mm-hmm. And then at 14, she helped me buy my first piece of real estate.
That's so young.
And that's how it started.
14. I mean, people don't even own real estate, in their 20s, 30s, 40s.
Right.
And you owned it at 14.
At 14.
Interesting. Very cool. Did you ever get steered away from real estate, like when you were younger, where you kind of you had a passion for something else, or you were so kind of in
I did.
real estate?
So I volunteered. I grew up with a very philanthropic family, so it was important and almost a must that you had to do something along that line. So I volunteered at Children's Hospital for all through high school, and I fell in love from the pediatric ward, and I wanted to be a pediatrician.
Awesome.
So went to college, had a bad negative professor in advanced chemistry, and he just said to me, if you can't do better than a C, you're going to flunk out of med school. And it was a time in my life I was going through some tough times with my father, and it just hit me the wrong way. Mm-hmm. I mean, if that had happened today, I would have gotten up and gone on. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that kind of derailed really what my dream was, to be a pediatrician. Mm-hmm. So I continued volunteering, and then decided, you know what, I'm going to have a conversation with my mother, because my father was hell-bent on me getting into the business world and going on to grad school. And when I said I'm going to enter real estate as a career, he said, I'm so disappointed. So at 23 or 4 was the first year I made $50,000. And buddies of mine that had gone on to grad school were making 23, 24 getting out.
Right.
So I knew I found my passion, and that was it. Mm-hmm. So kind of a quick funny story. One year I came home from college for the summer, and my mother was building condos in bad recession in the 80s, but she had guts of gold and just trudged ahead. So I said, I'm going to come home. And she said, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to be your sales manager. She said, no, you're not. She said, I have a sales manager. I said, okay, can I go and sit with him, and what kind of money am I going to make? She said, you're going to make the School of Hard Knocks nothing. You get to watch and learn. And I said, I need to make some money. I'm home from the summer. So she said, you can carry buckets of concrete up and down 3 flights of steps because the elevators are not installed yet. So I did that. Second day, I fell down the steps with 2 5-gallon buckets of concrete, messed up my knee. And so fast forward. On that next Thursday, I said, I found some jobs in the newspaper. Can you take the afternoon off? And she said, I will, because this is going to be hysterical. You picking jobs out of the newspaper. So I went on 5 interviews, and I took my tux with me. And she said, what's that for? I said, my last interview. And she said, what's that? And I said, I'm going to interview for a maitre d'. She said, I'm going to laugh. I'm going to go with you and sit in the parking lot. And I came out of that interview, and I got the job. So
Wow.
I moved college back to Cincinnati. I went to Northern Kentucky University, and I worked as a maitre d' for 2 years. And
Interesting.
while selling real estate at the same
Wow.
time.
That's so cool.
So it was fun.
You have kind of had that drive to obviously make money and business mindset for a long time. You had a landscaping business when you were super young. Is that right?
I did, yes.
Tell us about that.
So,
And how young were you?
well, I started lawn care at like 9 and 10. So we lived way off the road on a long driveway. My father was OCD, fastidious about the lay of the lawn as you drove down the driveway and the bends of the driveway. So we were only allowed to mow the front yard with a push mower, which was a large front yard. And when he came down the driveway, he wanted to see parallel lines. So that was my job. So it became kind of a game and kind of a, if I don't do it right.
right.
So I became kind of obsessed with it, and then went to Neighbors,
Yeah.
and I said to him, I think I want to mow other people's lawns and earn money. And he said, I'll make you a deal. If you'll do that, I'll pay for the mower, any parts, any tools, and all your gas. So basically, I was pure profit.
Wow.
Right? So I go door to door, it caught on, and then early on I learned how to cut railroad ties with the chainsaw. So I was doing landscaping with railroad ties, which back then was a new thing, using railroad ties for landscaping borders and edges. So started that, and by the time I was probably 13 and a half, I had 26 properties, and all within walking distance. But they were long walks because we lived on a busy road.
Right.
Now, not be fair, 9 of those were my parents' properties, but I still got paid. So
Love it.
I had a competitor who made fun of me and said, "You're just a kid. What do you think you're doing?" Well, when I was 14, I sold my business to him.
That's amazing. That's so
It was
cool.
fun.
Something we have in common then was landscape when we were super young.
Yeah.
Mine was called TLC,
Okay.
Teen Lawn Care.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I remember my mom and my family's been very philanthropic too. And so the requirement was my dad purchased this little, lawnmower to help me get started. But then proceeds, a percentage of proceeds all had to go back to the local food shelf and stuff. So
That's awesome.
it's pretty cool.
Yep.
It's, I think it's not like it was a huge money generating
Right,
thing, but it was a lot of experience.
Correct.
I love it. So
That's awesome.
So get us up to speed. Tell us about Lux International Properties.
So I moved to Naples in 2013. I was with a larger broker here that I highly respected, but I'm an eagle. I need to soar. So I do my best, but I can do what I need to do, function and focus as I want to, and really serve my clients the way I want to. And so that happened, and I decided, I'm going to open my own firm. And I did that in 2014.
What sets Lux International Properties apart from other brokerage?
We're a boutique broker. I mean, I am a negotiator and a closer. Those are probably my strengths. And we have a very nice, basically a concierge type of service. I know a lot of people talk about that, but really up to par, getting things done for a client, not being afraid to tell them these are things that have to be done, not just mulch, things that need to be done to the property. And I think our philosophy, everybody in the firm, we've got 5 agents, so we're a small boutique firm. Everybody has to do some kind of philanthropy. I don't direct what that is, just so they're giving back something, whether they're with the board of realtors or they're operating something, food shelter or something in the community. And that's really important. And we're really cohesive. So it's really basically a family unit, but we help each other and don't expect something back. So if I'm out of town or someone else is out of town, we pinch hit. Now we split things sometimes. Sometimes we do things on our own. So we say we're a team because we're like a family. But we all have our own individual businesses.
Right.
And then sometimes we partner with each other in certain communities to do business. So it works out well. And it's funny the calls I get to change, switch, sell, come on over. And, I love my freedom.
Right.
And we love what we do. So
Right. No one wants to give up that freedom.
no, I don't.
Oh, great. Now, we mentioned in the bio there you have different satellite offices.
Correct.
That's amazing. And why do you have these different satellite offices?
So I love Italy. Love Italy. So I was there 5 weeks this summer. And 4.5 years ago, one of my best friends here has a best friend in Florence. I was over there for a month. She said, you two need to meet. He and I met, and he's an amazing man. And I said, this is what I'd like to do. And I said, I'd like to offer consulting business over here. and with sellers who already have properties for sale or want to be for sale, but I need an agent that's licensed to list that property. I'll sign a separate deal with them as a consultant, and I'll market their properties in the United States. So the last year that was full-fledged before COVID, it was going well. I had sold 7 properties.
Wow.
So it was fun. I loved it. And I love Italy, so the whole cachet of it was really cool. And my dream was to be over there someday in the future.
Right.
So COVID kind of shut down Italy pretty hard. And so all of that basically stopped. And I went back over this summer and revived some things. So we'll see what the future holds.
Yeah, exciting. And then here you have a hybrid office in Bonita.
Correct.
And then, but you also sell, do you have one in Sarasota then too?
No.
Okay.
But I
you
do. I just go up there, right? Do
Awesome.
business.
It's not too far.
No, not too far.
When I said hybrid, you have that design aspect of, that complements Lux International Properties.
Correct.
Explain, is that a passion or did you do that solely for business? Why'd you get into that?
So I've redone, I'm on my 28th house. So before it was even vogue, I was selling properties turnkey, much when I was younger. So I would do it, furnish it, decorate it, dishes, everything, and I would sell the house. And I did really well doing that. So I thought, this is really cool. And then that kind of dropped off the radar. And several years ago, clients would say, they either knew me or knew of me, and they'd say, we like your opinion about the design or a new kitchen or bathroom, and we talk about it. And then it really was a client from Massachusetts who said, you need to do this. And they actually ended up hiring me over their designer they brought from Baltimore, which was kind of cool.
Bet that designer was
Wasn't
very happy.
Yeah, wasn't happy. So it's kind of caught on from there, and it's been a lot of fun. I have ADHD and ADD, so I go 100 miles an hour, even at 62 this month. But I love that. And if I'm not busy, I'm not happy. So, if real estate, like the storm, right, when things were kind of halted for a few days, I started calling all design clients and say, are you going to stay there? Are you going to move? What do you want to do? And that sparked. So I love that because I'm helping clients in a very different way, and I'm not calling somebody else down. I will, if it's beyond my realm, something that I'm not a commercial in that part of it, and there are things that are beyond my realm, and there are designers who would do a better job, and I tell them that. Then they can decide, and they want to keep me as a consultant or hire me as a designer. I'm open to that, and it really was something I thought, I'm going to start something else. If I decide to slow down or not stay in real estate forever. And that's why I started it, for fun. And then it turned into a profit-making business. And here we are. And, I don't let it interfere. I don't let either business interfere with the other. I know it's hard for a lot of people to understand, but it's just how I operate and think, and keep things in track. And,
Sounds like you found a passion you love.
I did.
And then you turned that into work.
I did.
Which, isn't that what everyone says, oh, you're supposed to love what you do, right?
Well, I hope so. I mean, because it's funny. People ask me, friends, especially now because of my age, when are you going to retire? When are you going to slow down? I say, you know what? Retiring for me is not working weekends. That's my goal.
Yeah.
Is not to work weekends unless I have a client that is a need that weekend. But I just love it. I mean, it really is a passion. Do you get, dealing with people, right, for 43 years? Can you have your moments? We all can, right? But the good outweighs the bad. And and a lot of clients have become really good friends. And so most of my business is repeat referral. So I'm very blessed to have that business. I love new business and welcome new business, but it's kind of, I look at my business like I do people in my life. If I feel a connection, right, on a positive level, I want to be involved or do business with that person or stay, develop a friendship. If I don't, I don't want to do that. So
can agree with you more. And I wish more people would treat it like that. I get the privilege of talking with so many, amazing top agents, and the very successful people, not just successful people, but the very successful people, time after time after time, they just say the same thing. It's about the relationships. It's about pouring into the person. It's classic sales 101, right? Like, we're all in sales, but are you doing it for the right reasons? Then it will, it obviously will come back tenfold. If you're just doing it for a paycheck, it's not going to come back.
Well, it's interesting here because, I haven't been here as long as other people who are big veterans here, right? Been here 20, 30 years. But I will say that I find that the top tier of agents here are all very polite. right? Work well together, which is kind of amazing. And you have other experiences and they aren't so great. But I would say that it's just about professionalism, handling yourself, and there's no reason to be rude no matter what. Now, we're all going to have a bad day, or we're going to agree to disagree in a deal. And something my mother taught me from day one, she said, never put the power of your paycheck in someone else's hand. She said, so don't point finger and say that's your job.
Right.
Because you've just given someone a reason for you not to get paid. And it was barely a great advice.
Very smart.
And the other advice, she said, try and keep 10 listings and 5 pendings at all times, and you won't worry about a paycheck.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's smart advice. And, such a small town and such a small, in the grand scheme of things, industry, 18,000 realtors in Southwest Florida, right? And Lee and Collier.
Right.
But the thing is, a lot of people just have their license and different things. There's very select few people that are making it all happen. And it's the same people you probably have to deal with time after time after time.
Right.
So I don't understand why people would burn these bridges when, probably the next day, next week, next month, you're going to be working with these same people.
Well, I think anybody who's been in it a long time, it is a profession. It's no different than being a physician, an accountant, an attorney. It's important. And I think it needs to be treated, handled as a business.
But what's so unique about it, Mark, is that let's say we're both doctors, right? I can have respect for you. I can admire you, right? And I could refer people over to you, right?
Yes.
But I'm still have my business and you have your business. The one beautiful thing about real estate, though, is you as a realtor, and if I was a realtor, we could make money together.
Absolutely.
So, like, doctors are already like, they usually play nice, and all these other industries play nice, and they don't even make money from one another.
Right.
But if we are nice to each other and we have a great relationship, we can make money with each other and we can service our clients better.
Right.
Well, that's even more the reason why you should be technically more respectful and more professional to your peers.
Correct.
It's crazy. It's a beautiful industry, I have to admit. Being, I came from aviation, so I was naive to a lot of things, and that's the one thing I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Because everyone's running their independent businesses, but they're able to work with each other.
Well, and you can do this seriously anywhere in the world, right? You can apply for a license in another state, in another country. Some are a little bit easier than others, but the great thing is you can go away and do your business. There's no, when I go on a listing appointment, I say, I hope I'm in competition. And when I leave, call all the people you've interviewed and see who picks up their phone. So it works well for me.
Yeah.
So
I love it. All right. We have this big thing called Hurricane Ian that just happened. Obviously, it's been detrimental, but you're down on 5th. You guys okay? You guys?
We're good.
Your
We were
office?
blessed. Yes.
Okay. You guys' office is a little bit higher,
Yep,
right?
we're second floor.
So you're okay there. Good. What I want to ask is, you've probably already gotten a lot of calls like, I lost everything in design. Is that design part of your business kind of kicking up because people are like, I got to redo it because of water and stuff like that? Like, what are you seeing right now? You deal with majority luxury properties, and the trend is, the trend when it's luxury is close to the water, right?
Correct.
So what are you seeing with that?
Well, what I did actually the next day after the hurricane, I called the clients that I had that I knew were on the water. Are you okay? What happened? And most of them lost everything. So they said, we're not sure. Do we get a rental? What do we do? And I said, I'm going to put an idea in your head. Why are you going to pay $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month in rent for something that an owner could call and say, by the way, we decide to sell it. Right? We're not going to renew your 6 months and your house isn't finished being renovated. Why don't we buy something reasonable? Now, reasonable, that's relative depending upon the client, correct?
Correct.
That you can live in, it's yours, and you can buy new furniture, put it in there, right? Get your new clothes, etc. And then after your house is completed, the renovation, and you move back in, we can sell this or rent it. So that's worked 3. I'm on my 4th one this week.
Wow.
So it's worked well for that client. Now there are some clients that's not a possibility.
Correct.
Right. So the other is, what can I help them with? Or rentals. Rentals is not my forte, but I'll certainly help a client if they need it. I know that they're scarce and they're expensive. So I think it's certainly challenging. I think the biggest thing, this is my 9th hurricane. So I've been coming to, my grandparents retired here the year I was born, 1960. So coming to Naples and Sarasota area a long time, and this is my 9th hurricane that I've stayed. Certainly the worst. And I would say probably what I'm seeing is the emotional toll in addition to the financial and kind of devastation toll. I think that a lot of people are in shock over how quickly it happened, and that you almost feel that you weren't really prepared. And, we were all prepared. We've been through Irma. So anybody who was here through Irma, we were prepared. What we didn't entail or really even fathom was the surge and its level of devastation. So I've never seen that in my lifetime. And I've had clients who are certainly going to stay, and I have clients who are not. And I have clients who have called. I think I told you earlier, I had a client from California who was supposed to come in first of the year, and they're debating. And I said, of all the natural disasters, I'd rather be here. And she said, why? I said, because we get the longest lead time. Evacuate, get prepared, get out, other than, mudslide, a fire, a tornado, a flash flood.
Right.
I said, so certainly we've had tornadoes and we've had fires in Florida, but not as devastating as other parts of the country. And they happen while you're, overnight, you're asleep, et cetera. So I said, if you look at that, those are all realities, and Mother Nature is always going to win. I've always said that and believe that. I still would rather be here.
And you said it correctly. And I think people just need to realize, have a little bit of extra for the whole hurricane, fund. And that could be supplies, that could be paying overrated or, overpriced tickets to get out. That could be, whatever, make a trip out of it and get out of here, and obviously protect yourself and the insurance part of things. But you're totally right? Like a fire or anything like that, you're like, earthquake, tornado, like those pop up, right? So, and a lot of people didn't leave, and very humbling it was my first hurricane, I went big or go big or go home kind of thing. I was like, all right, this is what it's all about.
This is it. Yeah. And I feel, my heart goes out big time, and we've helped as much as we can as a group and individuals. But, people that, can't come back. Right. And my heart really goes out. And I think there are people that still going to need, I know there are, a lot of help. After it happens and everybody's coming to the table and saying, what can I do? Can I give money, clothes, food? After that kind of goes away, right? So I'm concerned about the upcoming holidays and the first of the year. And I think all of us need to, get together and say, how can we do more?
And you and your team helped even when we were raising funds and supplies and everything like that right after the hurricane. I know you've constantly been doing different amazing acts of kindness. If people want to get involved and help, what do you suggest kind of that month after to 2 months after? Because when this comes out, it's going to be about 2 months after the hurricane. We are going to be close to the holidays. If people want to help out, how can they?
I think go to, whether it's your church or not, go to a church or some kind of unit similar to that. Maybe it's going to be the VFW, maybe it's going to be a veterans organization. I said, just pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I'd like to help. Where do you need help? It could be volunteering, right? It could be delivering food. It could be buying food. And, you don't have to write a check to volunteer. You can use your heart and say, hey, I'm going to go give an hour a day. I'm going to go help. So, I'm very involved with my church, Trinity on the Cove, and we've got super outreach. Even places that you think, didn't get hurt, like Youth Haven, very involved with them. They got hurt, so we helped. And I just think there are so many places. And if somebody doesn't know, feel free to call me, and I will help you get in touch with someone that needs help. I think we're going to have a huge food issue. I'm hearing that more and more at St. Matthew's House, and a lot of the food service people who are helping those less fortunate and in need. It's going to be a big, big problem coming up. And we all need to be, I never thought, really, if you think about it, in my lifetime, did I ever think anyone in this country would be, wanting food, clothing, and shelter. I didn't, but we're here.
I know.
And it's not just the storm, right? So we have to think about that because, Naples is wonderful and I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. And it's kind of like, I call it economic la-la land, right? Because we think everybody has money and everybody's in great shape.
Yeah.
And, we've got a lot of service people who keep this economy going.
Right.
And keep our business going, right? For sure. On this end, absolutely. From your carpenters to painters to lawn care to handy people, right? And, pick up the people that call those people and say, hey, how about your family? How about your church? How about your community, right, where they live?
Yeah.
And that'll, I think, go a long way and kind of be a philanthropy fever, right, that doesn't have to stop because the storm's over.
Correct. Yep. I love it. What do you think, to end this, is the prediction for the future of Naples and Southwest Florida, even up into, Lee and Charlotte? How is that? Everyone's like, what's going to happen, right? What's your predictions? You've been through a lot of hurricanes. You're very involved in the, obviously in the market. What are your predictions for our area?
I think Naples is going to be fine. I mean, certainly we've got some challenges ahead. I think it's going to be insurance. I think it's going to be building code changes, probably the cost of construction along with that. But, I don't see people with, huge moving trucks leaving. Right. Some people are going to leave. And I think, like, as I said earlier, I think the emotional toll has been probably the most eye-opening, how it really has affected people. And we're going to be fine. Just think, it's amazing how quickly things are cleaned up. Right. And restaurants are coming back. And I think the best thing we can all do is, even if you say, hey, I've got a budget, go to an early bird special and go out once a week, right, to help our local economy. Right. Have a salad. Yeah. Right. Whatever. And just to help us all get back on our feet, especially all our workabees, right? And if we don't have them, we don't have a community. Right.
They all got hit hard during COVID. They all bounced, hopefully, most of them bounced back, and now they got hit again. So we got to go out and support them.
It's okay.
Don't tell my fiancée that, though, because all she likes to do is eat out and go out to food. She's a foodie, so I'm like,
it's okay to fall down in this life, but it's not okay not to get back up. Yeah. But those of us that can get back up, there are people that can't. That's who we need to help.
Love it. Mark, it's been an absolute pleasure. We are out of time, but thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity, and you're awesome. Thanks very much.
Appreciate it. So, as always, RP Experience is extremely thrilled to have you on here. We're here at Venture X in the podcast studios. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next episode. See you guys.